Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello, everybody. Today I'm interviewing Carma Brown, personal insurance agent and department manager at Home Loan Insurance in Grand Junction, Colorado. Carmen has been in the insurance industry for over 20 years. She started with State Farm Insurance over 17 years ago. She decided to move to an independent agency where she had more opportunities to service her clients at Home Loan. Carmen loves spending time with her family and is an active member in her church and loves to work with the Young Women's Program. She loves to help others, and her passion is the Challenger Baseball League that she has ran for over 16 years. She's humbly been awarded JUCO Homerun Alley Heroes Award, the Kiwanis Citizen of the Year Award, and the Lions Club Hometown Hero Award. Welcome, Carma. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
All right, I'm pretty sure I destroyed some of these awards that you got.
No, you did pretty good.
Okay. I know we've said quite a bit, but is there anything else you'd like to add before we jump in about yourself?
No, you did a great job. I do have to share because this is pretty cool. I did get also a new award that was a national award last year. It was the 2015 ABCA Meritorious Service Award. The importance to that is it came from the American Baseball Coaches Association. And as you know, baseball coaches are all men. So this was the first time that they gave the Meritorious Service Award to a woman. So I'm pretty proud about that because it was a national award to a woman in the baseball community, which was pretty cool.
Oh,
I just also want to mention I have been married 30 years, which is pretty much accomplishment in itself, and I have 2 kids.
Well, congratulations on both.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That 30 years, it's hard to get to these days.
There you go. Now, tell me what led you into the insurance business. Is this something you always wanted to do, or is this something you stumbled into?
I definitely stumbled into it. I really was a bank teller that just went into her State Farm insurance agent and paid my minivan bill. And when I was paying my insurance that day, the agent there said, "Hey, Carma, you want to try insurance?" And I was like, "No, I hate insurance," because most people do. And so they're like, "Come on, give it a try. You can always go back to banking," which is true. So I did just that. I said, I went, spoke to my husband about it and decided that I would give it a try. I mean, because he's right. I could always go back and be a bank teller at any time. So I just tried it out, and it was a great fit for me, and I loved it. I soon learned after about 4.5 years, I did not love working in an insurance company that just sold one product or one carrier, if you will. And so by another chance encounter, I was at the same baseball game as my current boss, Jamie Hamilton at Home Loan Insurance, and he offered me a job at his insurance agency at a baseball game, and I took it. And I've been here for 18 years.
Wow, what a story.
So definitely I stumbled upon both of those options.
Yeah. Now let's talk about these personal attributes of yours that allowed you to be so successful at this.
Well, that's a tough question because no one wants to really talk about themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I do feel like in order for you to be successful as an insurance agent, you do have to have some important attributes for sure. I think my strong points are that, well, you don't get awards like Hometown Hero or Citizen of the Year unless you're a nice person. And so I think it helps to be a very nice person, and I think I'm that. I'm an honest person. And I really love helping others. I really love my community. I've lived here since I was 7. So I feel pretty spoiled to be here still in my lifetime. And I think because people know me, they know that I am trustworthy. They know that I'm honest and I really mean it when I say I want to help them. I think that definitely helps me succeed in my occupation. I do have a big heart. So and you have to. I think if you're an insurance agent and you are just doing it for the paycheck, you probably won't be in this industry very long because you really do need to do it for the right reasons so that people's livelihoods are protected.
Mm-hmm. And on that note, can you give some specific examples of how this helped?
Sure. There's a lot of examples of why those characteristics matter. There's a few that come to my mind. Whether it's, we've had incidents with homes that catch on fire, and you've got to go through that process with a customer, and you've got to be compassionate and also make sure you can help them and make sure that they have the coverage in place they needed. There's also those drama of someone coming home from work and realizing their whole house has been flooded because maybe the washing machine hose broke, and that's traumatic. It's horrible, and they worry about mold. They just worry. These are your things. These are the biggest bills in your life, and not to mention just your family. But two that come to my mind specifically, true traumatic things that happened to people that I'm good friends with, that I am their insurance agent, that I know needed me, and I'm grateful that I was there for them, was one of my, was my coworker, honestly. She works in the bank. We own a bank as well, and she works in the bank, but we've been friends a long time. Her husband and I had been friends since we were children. We grew up together at the same Little League park since we were little kids, and they were driving, and anyway, they hit some black ice, and it ended up being a horrible car accident. And unfortunately, my childhood friend died in the event at the end result of this car accident.
Wow.
And it was horrible because they were so close to us. And here I was, their insurance agent plus their friend, which is how I like it, because they know I have a vested interest in them. But in this particular case, it was so traumatic. And all I could think of is, what can I do from here to help them there, because they were away from here. They were traveling elsewhere. And I knew there were things, I knew there was coverages that I could get in place for them. I knew their coverages were good coverages. I knew they had what they needed. It wasn't going to bring my friend back, but I knew that we could help them. And I had everything in place for when they returned. And I know that they appreciated that very much, because that's the last thing that the wife needed to have to deal with was the insurance. She had so much to deal with anyway, that if I could take that burden away from her, then that was super important to her and just a necessity in her life at that point. Wow. So I think that that's one reason that you need to really be in this career, because your heart's in the right place. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I don't know if you would get that aggressively involved in making sure that their needs are met in any way that you can possibly do so. Another thing that comes to my mind, and I think it's poignant now, is another really good friend. I think all my customers are my really good friends, by the way. So they're all my good friends. Everyone's my good friend. But another one, truly one of my really good friends, her son, who's the same age as my son, and they've been friends since they grew up together. And he had 3 of his friends in the car, who also were good friends of my kids. So I knew all 4 kids in this car, is my point. And there was an accident, and all 4 of those kids were severely hurt, and all of them were sent to the hospital. So it was a lot of injuries and a lot of, and the driver was at fault. My friend's son did something wrong. He was speeding and overshot a turn and rolled his car, and everybody was at the hospital. So all these good friends and all these good friends' parents were all at the hospital, and as you probably can assume, friends go out the window and panic sets in. Mm-hmm. So then everybody was like, do you have enough coverage? Do you have enough coverage? Are you going to be able to take care of their medical bills? And she was just traumatized. They have a love for these boys. I have a love for these boys. And so she called me, immediately and said, I got to talk to Carma. I don't know what to do. So she called me right away after they got to the hospital and said, Carma, do we have enough coverage? Because here's what happened. And I don't want to get sued. I don't want my friends to sue me, but mostly I need to tell these friends of ours that we're going to be able to take care of all these boys, and that they're going to be okay, and that I've got insurance in place to handle the financial burden of this. And it was one of the most rewarding moments in a bad time for me, that I could tell my friend with a total peace of mind that I have provided her with the proper insurance, and that she had everything she needed and probably more than she needed, and that she could put every one of those parents on the phone and I would be able to tell them the same thing, and that all they had to worry about was getting their kids okay and not to worry about the financial piece of it.
Awesome. Well, what I'm hearing from this is that not only did you help after the fact, but you actually helped before anything happened. So whatever you've done before was huge. So you consulted them properly in terms of how much insurance they should buy. So that's a good point too.
Exactly. And if you don't care and you don't have the right mindset, or you're just doing it for a paycheck, then you may miss some of those coverages that they need. But if you get to know these clients and you really do love them and love their families, you have a vested interest in properly protecting them and being proactive so that they have what they need before they need it.
Now, I mean, that's awesome stories here, just very inspiring. That being said, you're obviously successful now, but there's no straight line to success, right? There's always some ups and downs. Can you talk about some of the adversities that you faced during your career?
Yes, I definitely can. I would say for me, there were a few. There still are a few. In my younger years, I think my biggest adversity was the fact that I got married young and had a family young because my husband was serving in the Army. And so we did the Army path, and I followed him, and we had children at 20 and 22. And so I didn't go to college, and I didn't have a college education. I just had to work hard. So, of course, being a female and breaking through some barriers there that I could be more than just the secretary, that was a challenge in itself. I think that I remember the day I got hired here, where I work now at Home Loan, me and another gentleman started the same day, and he came with a 4-year college degree, and he didn't know anything about insurance. But he did come with a 4-year college degree and was put right next to me, who had been working for 4.5 years, elsewhere, but in this industry. And I learned right away that I was going to have to prove myself really quick, which I did. But I just had to remember what I knew. I had to work hard. I had to prove my values. I had to prove my worthiness, and it paid off. And I still am here, and he is not. And I have a great job, and I've become, I feel like I'm a true asset to this company, and I manage a big book of business and manage a big department. But it didn't come easy for me. The other thing that I think in my humble early beginnings of this is you have to take a lot of tests. You have to take a lot of tests in insurance. You have to get licensed. It's not just a job that you get hired for and you go to work. You've got to get approved through the insurance commissioner. And I was doing that with 2 babies at home. So I was working my day job, and I was taking care of my children at night. And then about 10 o'clock at night to about 1 in the morning is when I could focus on studying. And so I thought I think look back now, and I think it created a lot of character in myself. But it was not easy because I was sleep deprived and I was working long hours, and my husband worked out of state, so he was nowhere around during Monday through Fridays when this was happening. And I spent a lot of time studying at late hours of the night, but it was important enough to me that I made those sacrifices because I knew that this career would end up being a good fit for me. So I wanted to put in the hard work to make it pay off. And I did, but it by no means came without any adversity or trials. It was a hard path. You just have to keep working through it if you want to do this.
On that note, what kept you going when you were at your lowest?
Well, I really believed that I could, one, help others. I love helping other people. But as you mentioned in the very beginning, I run a baseball league for kids with special needs, and with my best friends, and I love to help others. And I seen that this is a way I could really help people, but you needed a specific knowledge and a set of tools to do it. And I just kind of wanted to just see it through. I really wanted to see if I could do it. So when I was at my lowest, I was like, you can't quit now, because there is an end to this that's going to pay off. It's a good living. I make good money. So obviously that was a motivating factor. I wanted to make a good living for myself and for my family. And I really thought that this fit would work for me, but I knew I was going to have to work hard. And I just kept telling myself, don't be a quitter, else you're going to go back to being a bank teller, and you're never going to get any further in life, this occupation you can advance in. You can be as successful as you want to be as long as you work hard. And so that mindset and that strive to work hard and to get appreciated for your hard work is what helped me get through those hard points. And it has worked for me. I am appreciated, and I appreciate being appreciated. I just took the harder path.
Yeah,
but I eventually caught up to people who maybe didn't have it as hard. And then my goal then was to surpass them and just continue to be the best I could be at this and see the rewards of it financially and professionally, and seeing people appreciate. I appreciate it when I see someone at the store. I appreciate it when I see someone at a ball game and they say, "There's my insurance agent. I love her." Like that is where that pushes me through the hard times.
Yeah, you don't hear it all the time. It's a good one.
You don't hear it all the time. I tell people I love it. I tell people all the time, and they agree with me. I know you don't really love insurance, but you can love your insurance agent.
Cool. On that note, I mean, looking forward, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In all truthfulness, I see myself probably right where I am right now because I'm in a really good place. I do see myself wanting to continue to as far as personally, I think I'll be right where I'm at. But here's what I see in the industry, and here's what I need to be doing in my vision in the next 5 years is keeping the independent agent a valuable asset to one's financial portfolio. We're challenged every day to prove our worthiness against the 1-800 numbers that are out there and the direct companies where you just dial that 1-800 number at any time of the day and they'll sell you insurance. They don't know you, and they don't really care about you, and they don't know your real needs. They're just listening to what you think you know and selling you something that's cheap. And I want to be in 5 years where I am now, where we're still going strong. We're still sticking up for the independent agencies. We're still making sure we're important and that clients still see our value. And I want, of course, my employer to still see that. I want my clients to feel that way. And I want our community to still want to come and shop their insurance with people that they can have a face-to-face conversation with and a handshake, and it means something.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned cheapest. I mean, it brings a good point. I mean, obviously, there are some misconceptions out there about using an insurance agent. But can you try to talk about the fact that a lot of people try to do it themselves, looking for the cheapest insurance rates? What would be the pitfalls there?
Yeah, there is a lot of pitfalls there. First of all, though, the shopping it yourself, as I mentioned before, it takes a lot of continued education and a lot of education in the very beginning of starting out your insurance career, but it doesn't end there. Laws are changing all the time. State laws are changing all the time. Our insurance license is only good for 2 years at a time. We have to renew it every 2 years, but we only can renew it after 24 hours of continued education, so that we're staying on top of the insurance industry and the laws and the coverage changes. If you're out there shopping it yourself, I would say the biggest misconception is that you actually know what you're doing. And they're just really doing it because they have an impulse to save money. You can save money and still have an insurance agent as long as that insurance agent's trustworthy, ethical, cares for you. You need to find that person who's got the intelligence to seek out the lowest rate, but still protect you. And, it's unfortunate because lots of people have bad experiences with insurance because they didn't have the right coverage. And usually they didn't have that right coverage because they didn't have the right agent or had no agent at all and did it themselves. I get a person in my office every day that has that story. And they say, "Oh my God, I just had an accident and I don't even have coverage for my car." And I was like, "Well, who's your agent or where are you insured?" And, "Oh, I bought it online." "Oh, okay." Or they don't have medical coverage for themselves. And they're like, "I have a $10,000 medical bill or a $5,000 deductible. I can't pay this. And I don't know what to do now. So now I've learned that I need to have an agent that will tell me what all these coverages mean so I don't waive something I need.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to get that with a insurance agent that is a 1-800 number with a person on the other end of the phone that they may get it, but they're not going to get it consistently.
Awesome advice.
Because that person's paid to pick up the phone, push some buttons, get your down payment, and you never think of you again.
Well, that's scary when you look at it that way, right? I mean, it's so important.
You're never going to see that person again. You're never going to go to that person and go, explain to me why we don't have coverage for my medical needs, because that person is not a person to you. They're on the other end of the phone. They disconnected with you. They moved on to somebody else. And the likelihood of you ever speaking to them again is very, 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 it's zero.
Well, you certainly made a good point about using an agent, that's for sure. Now, if anybody wanted to learn more about this or about you, how could they get in touch with you?
Well, they can certainly get in touch with me through my direct line, my phone number. It's 970-254-0822. I have an email that's Carma B, that's spelled with a C, CARMAB @HLIC.com. That stands for Home Loan Insurance Company. Also, they can go to our website, which is www.hlic.com, and I believe you can just like chat or send a message and it gets to me.
Awesome. Well, this was great. Thank you so much for taking the time to share these stories with us, Carma. This was extremely enlightening, extremely educational, so I appreciate you taking the time.
Well, thank you for having me. I hope that you benefited from it as well. So if you're anywhere in the 9 states I have an insurance license in, maybe you better call me.
All right. Thank you very much, Carma.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.